So I'm back this week with an advanced screening of Gran Turismo, and I have a guest with me. Who are you, guest?
My name is Joe, sir. How are you
Yeah,
doing?
I'm good. I'm good. You've been on about maybe
Dude,
4 or 5 episodes of
I,
the show of
I've been around a
my
few
show.
times.
Yeah, you've been around the block.
Yeah.
So you went with me to this screening, and I intentionally asked you. Well, full disclosure. I had plans to see Ninja Turtles that night. But
Hmm.
then, but it was like a regular people go with the normies screening. And then,
So now you too good to go see the movies with the normies now?
well, no, because like then I got the alert that I could see this movie weeks early, and I was like, see a movie with normies, or
A man screening
yeah.
with two children to the right of us.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So, so yeah, so like when I was like, okay, Gran Turismo, cool. I'm going to ask Joe if he wants to do this because I really wasn't sure if you've ever played the games, but you're a car guy. And so I'm like, okay, well, at the very least, he can, talk about car stuff because you ended up talking to me about some car stuff at the movie. And I was like, oh man, save this for the show.
Yeah, I know, man. I like cars, bro. And like it started off with my first favorite car ever, which is the Acura NSX. Even though I didn't get like much screen time, it was just the first thing that we saw. Like, oh, this is perfect. This is a great sign of a great movie. He's got the greatest car ever right there.
That's his dad's car, the main character's
Um,
dad's car
it was that
that they
red car at the very, very beginning of the movie.
that they stole, right? To go to the
No, no,
park.
no, 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 no. Not his dad's car. It was just a car they had shown on the racetrack at the very beginning of the movie.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not
So before we get into the movie stuff, so what is your relationship with Gran Turismo, the video game?
so Gran Turismo the video game. Like, I remember it first came out on PS1. I was like, this one a race car game on 2 discs. What the hell is this shit? And then Gran Turismo 2. I probably got into Gran Turismo 3 the most out of the series. I believe Gran Turismo 3 was on PS2. Um, I remember they packaged it in on a few PS2 consoles and stuff back in the day. So like that was probably the most time I probably put into a Gran Turismo game. And I've been telling myself I kind of want the new one, but I think after I got of driving age, driving sims aren't really my thing.
That's fair.
I would just much rather drive the car, but I get the allure to, especially like in today's world. Like people have these massive sims setups at their homes, where I even see people like chop cars in half, like real cars, chop them
Yeah,
in half
yeah.
and put them in their homes and like turn them to driving sims.
Yeah, I've seen it was a guy, he had like a big rig simulator,
Mhm.
and he basically had a setup sort of like that to where like everything around it was actually from a real big rig, and then he just had a big giant screen where the
Yep.
windshield would be, and I was like, that's cool,
Yeah, I've seen a
but
few.
is
Like I
it that
saw
serious?
for some people, it is like
Yeah,
I think about the main character of the movie. Like it's the only game it appeared he played
yeah,
was Gran Turismo. So I can definitely see the allure, especially like in other countries where driving probably isn't as accessible for everyone.
yeah.
Which kind of goes into the movie itself. Like we see all these people from all these other countries being it was only like one or two people from the U.S. that was actually there.
Yeah, good.
Um, and I think it's just because we have access to drive so much other stuff here, and it's really especially like if you're into like cars and stuff, and you already into driving and building. It's not that it's hard to get into like a driving sim because you can almost kind of foresee or foreplan your build in real life using something like that as well.
Hmm.
But it it just doesn't have for me personally doesn't have the same feel.
Okay. So I played around with it. Like my uncle was a big PlayStation guy, so I don't recall which ones he had, but I played around with it, and I'm like, this just feels like driving a car, and this is not interesting to me.
Like for a video game perspective, me personally, like Need for Speed. I love Need for Speed because it's the right amount of
Arcade.
arcadish
Mhm.
opposed to just saying like I'm Gran Turismo and Forza. Like they're both great in their own rights, but just a pure driving sim is just not for me personally.
Same, like, you know, I'm a Mario Kart guy because I'm like, oh yeah, I can throw some items at you. We got boosts and stuff, but like here's a game that simulates how to do what you do every day when you do your normal tasks. Cool.
Right.
Cool.
Follow this line, and this line will get you your best track times, in which we found out as well that's not always the case either.
Right. So yeah, I'm not, so as a video game, it never really sparked anything for me, but I did find it interesting that they were making this into a movie. Before we actually delve into that, let's talk snacks. We went to an AMC theater. We did the pledge of Nicole Kidman. What did you say?
Nothing. Go ahead. I'm just laughing. We're gonna talk snacks. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. We're talking about the whole theatrical experience here. Well, at least this is what we do when I have somebody else to talk to about a new movie.
Okay.
So
saw these snacks. I had some popcorn, It was fire.
Okay.
They gave me little buttercups instead of putting my butter on it. They brought it to my seat. I never had popcorn delivered to my seat before.
Yes. That is something AMC does. But what they don't tell you is that they charge you for that. So that's like an extra fee. So you're like, oh man, this is so much better than just standing in the line, and then you get charged an extra $4.
Yeah, I was sitting in line for that $4. Not gonna lie. The line wasn't even that long when I got there.
When you got there, when I got there, it was ridiculous.
And that's why they made you pay that $4.
I was like, nah.
They ain't got self checkout at the movies, bro. They got just make your own drink. That's about it.
Well, the long line, but also it was like I only have the two hands, so that was the bigger issue.
True.
But yeah, so yeah, you got the popcorn and icy. Yeah, and I got a giant Fanta. It was a good time.
And then homie to the right of it, homie to the left got the free whatever it was. But they was happy.
Oh yeah. There was a order mix up with the couple next to us. But yeah, so speaking of people in the theater, for some reason, a family of like four or five,
way too many.
Like
brought the blankets, the snacks.
They brought a baby. They brought a baby to a car movie.
They brought a baby and two small children to a car movie.
Right.
I forgot about the babies. He just said it. So yeah, definitely 5 people.
No, that was the first thing I noticed. Because when I was walking up the steps, I'm like, is that a baby? I saw those kids. And I was like, oh God, don't. No. Then they're right next to us. Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had some
the whole time just sliding down the seats,
up and down. It's like
backflips, busting their head across the glass.
They talking about mom, dad, can we go play? And they're like, no, we're at the movie theater. Like, play what?
Well, in real life, they should have took them to the screen next door, which was Ninja Turtles, which we were about to be at as well.
Yeah,
that's what they should have done. But
they had to see Gran Turismo 3 weeks early for some fucking reason.
Clearly, it was for the father. I'm assuming she didn't really seem like the type to really be into this movie either.
Right, but she's like, nah, you're not going to that movie by yourself.
And that was the reason why she kept making him come check them kids. Mm-hmm. You wanted to see this shit. Right. Go down there.
But can we get babysitters, people? Is that a thing? Are babysitters not a thing anymore?
Bro, I don't think it is. I know daycare is like my most expensive bill that I pay currently in my household.
Rent is my most expensive bill, followed by daycare.
Daycare is more than my rent, bro.
That's right. You have 2 kids though, so okay.
Daycare is my most expensive bill.
I didn't think that you have 2 children.
And yeah, I can't wait. when that bill is no longer a thing, I'll be in hog heaven. Probably not, because I'm sure there'll be other expenses to take the place of that money. But in my mind right now,
that's how it always is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna happen. It'll be okay. But I never actually paid anybody for a babysitter. To be honest, if I can't get my brother or my mom to watch, I typically want to ask somebody else.
No, I feel the same way. Like, if my mom's not available, then I'm like, well, I'm just not going.
Yeah, like I can't even imagine what the going rate of a babysitter is these days.
Now, I'm pretty sure it's expensive. And it's just like, that's not an expense I want to pay if I'm already paying to do whatever I'm trying to do out,
Yeah, exactly. I'm not, no. Could you imagine get a babysitter for somebody else? I hear it's a thing. I don't know if that's true or not. I would never do that.
A babysitter for somebody else? What do you mean?
Yeah, like say if you go on a date with somebody and like she got kids, you gotta she needs you to get a babysitter for her kids. I would never know. I would never do crazy.
Who offers that? Who's like, hey, dude, I'm trying to hook up with. I only know you good enough to hook up with you, but can you find someone to make sure and make sure they don't murder my kids? Like, what are we doing here?
Or can you give me the money to pay for someone to watch my kids?
That's very bold.
Very. That's why this what dating world what it used to be.
I'll take your word for it. I've never come across that before.
I've only heard stories because I knew if that was a thing. I would just be like, clearly we're not going out.
Right.
That's why clearly you got to put them kids in the back room. We got Netflix and chill this night out.
So talking about the movie, sort of. So when I told people before I saw this movie that I was going to see a Gran Turismo movie, they were like, why did they make that a video game? Sorry, why did they make that a movie? And I explained, like, hey, the whole conceit of it is it's based off a true story. At some point in time, they had a contest to find out who were the best video game players of that game. And the winner got to be a real race car driver. And people were like, oh, that does sound interesting. So based off that, like going into the movie, did you have any like what were your thoughts on what this movie would be?
So when I first got word that there was a Gran Turismo movie coming out, my reaction was just like theirs. Like, what the hell could they possibly make a movie out of to call it Gran Turismo? Like, please don't like make a knockoff fucking Fast and the Furious and then call it Gran Turismo.
Right.
Like, I didn't really know what to expect. And then when I saw the trailer and I was like, well, never mind. That fucking sounds awesome as fuck. Like I didn't know about the tournament. Like by the time I was done playing and driving sims at that point.
Yeah.
But I think it is, especially for someone from our generation, like where we were told that you'll never become anything from playing video games your whole life, to see a story of somebody who literally played video games enough to be, I'm so good in video games, I can actually do this in real life flawlessly. And granted, that's not, once again, not the case, but like, cause the movies, he had plenty of hardships that he, had to go through. But I think just the perspective of thinking, like as a person who grew up, during the golden age of video games, and always then we had those parents in the older generation before us that didn't have any kind of conception of what video games could be in the future, always telling us that it was nothing productive will ever be coming out of playing video games. And that's literally the same thing his parents told him as well, and he got to prove everybody wrong.
Right. I mean, and that's also was like right before like streaming became like a thing too. Like he could have been a good streamer.
True. In the movie they busted out that PS5 instead of the whatever console he probably actually would play. I doubt this competition existed on PS5.
I don't remember seeing a PS5. Like I thought he had like a PS3 because that was.
I swear I saw one of these boys in that movie. I swear I did.
So the real story did take place during 2011.
Yeah.
So that would have been PS3 era. But okay. Thoughts on the movie, Joe? We are even though this one thing, sorry. Okay. I'm scattershot. So this is gonna come out like a few days before the movie comes out. So there are gonna be some mild spoilers.
Yeah. I would say I loved the movie, honestly. I liked it way more than I thought I was gonna like it going into it. I thought it would be probably kind of mid, just generally speaking, video game movies don't do that great.
Right.
And they're just cult classics amongst those who just really are just into it like that. But after actually sitting down watching it, that movie was great. I would happily watch it again. I would definitely tell any gamer they should definitely go see that movie. I would tell anybody who's in the cars they should definitely go see that movie. I would tell if you just like a good like story of a kid who had nothing, who made something out of nothing. Great movie for you to watch. I think it's very like inspirational, honestly, too. And the fact that he actually did his own stunt driving in the movies even made it that much better.
Yeah. So the every time the actor had car scenes, that was the actual real life dude, which was pretty dope.
Yeah.
So the real life man's name is Jan Mordenborough. He is 31 years old, Joe. Born in 1991. The actor playing him was born in 1995. So that's
Sounds
pretty
all
cool.
right. Yeah, sounds all right.
Pretty cool. So overall, I like the movie as well. It had a lot more heart than I thought it would have. Um, Overall, it was a good story, and like they had a very great foundation, like a very interesting foundation. Like I had that same spiel with multiple people about the movie I'm about to go see and explaining like the base story. They were like, "Oh, that sounds very interesting." Um, I do feel like there were several missed opportunities in this movie. Like I feel like near the end they got tired and they were just like, okay, where's the checklist for a sports movie? And let's just go down the line and let's get out of here. Like, oh man, a big old injury happened. Oh man, the girl he likes. Oh man, is he gonna win the big race? Oh man, his enemy gets his comeuppance. Oh man, we wanna make it so you can't do the thing that you love anymore. People are against you. You gotta prove them wrong. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but like kind of like I was saying before, like as a person, as a gamer, you are like the fact that you walking in and saying I know about cars purely off a video game to a person who works on who's worked on cars, it does sound kind of crazy. Like, what you mean you know more than me? All you know is you just play a game. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And in this case, it worked. It worked really well. So like I didn't think like the whole like him getting his comeuppance or like the
No, I'm not talking about David Harbour. I'm talking about his enemy.
yeah, I know. Like in every instance, there's always somebody who has it out for you, and like
Right.
they clearly had it out for him because who wants to lose to the guy who, in your mind, shouldn't be here?
No, I get that. I do wish that we would have gotten more family stuff. Because like that, I feel like that is the essence of the heart.
I feel you. I agree with you on that, especially on the fact like his pops didn't show up to a race until like the final race of the movie.
Right. I feel like I didn't do a whole lot of research, but I feel like that was not true.
I'm sure his mom. I can't imagine flying out a chick to come see me race before my mom
and your parents.
Yeah. I me personally, maybe, but that's just me. Maybe like it also feel like his dad was a dick a lot of the times as well too. But no, not really, because you stole Pop's car and all he did was to take you to work the next day.
Right. No, right. But like it's all perception, right? Like he feels like his dad was being a dick because all he, like you were saying earlier, like of that generation of like you're just playing video games and you working at a department store still selling underwear. Like what are you gonna do with your life? So it's like it feels like he's being a dick, but like he's being
a traditional like a father of the age.
Right. I mean, once more, this is before like streaming and all that stuff took off.
Right. So like, because like you said, timing wise, this is PS3 era. So this is fresh into internet gaming.
Right.
This is still like, we're still kind of like internet gaming was still very new at that time. Like,
right.
Dreamcast wasn't the success that the world thought it was going to be.
Right. And then like original Xbox, it did okay. Like that really was all like, hey,
that was like
online gaming.
Right. That was like just taking what Dreamcast did, making it a little bit better. PlayStation had their version of it, which didn't also at that time. Right. PS2 did not take off as far as online gaming.
Right.
So PS3 and Xbox 360 was that true first generation of online gamers where you can have that kind of interaction with the game like that, where you can truly see, okay, I have the best fucking lap time on this particular track. And who even now playing, like who would have thought like someone who could play a driving sim would go on to, his second driving experience was there on the track.
Right. And I just looked it up. Twitch didn't become a thing until 2011. So
yeah.
So yeah, so like his dad's a dick, but like yes, but no.
I think that's more, like you said before, probably just more for storyboard purposes.
Yeah.
Like shit, I don't know what the happy household dynamic ratio looking like out in the UK, but half of us in the US ain't got to pop around to tell us that the video game ain't gonna make no money. So
right.
why did it take you to work with them the next day to put you on to make some money?
Right. So I really do wish they would have focused more on the family aspect as opposed to lightly setting up David Harbour and Orlando Bloom to
be the parent, the fatherly figures of the movie.
Yeah. And also like I was like the movie started and I was with it. I'm like, let's go. Like, you know, you get a little intro about like the origins of like why Gran Turismo is a thing. And then we are getting off the airplane with Orlando Bloom and he's going to some meeting and you're like, okay, all right. What we're about to do, Orlando Bloom. And he's making the pitch to was it Nissan?
Yeah, it was Nissan.
About like the Gran Turismo school. I'm like, this is a very weak pitch. Like, if I were Nissan, I would laugh you out of the building. Like his pitch, like him explaining why we're about to watch a movie for 2 hours, in my opinion, felt weak. And I wish like if we just didn't know, we didn't hear this shit, and we just saw from Jan's perspective, oh, they're having a contest to see who's the best Gran Turismo player. Why? I didn't like his pitch. So I was like, I was kind of put off as to why we're even doing this.
No, I feel you on that. But I think that was just more so. I think it was probably, if just from my business perspective, probably just the marketing campaign of Nissan. Like that, because this movie's pretty much is a big Nissan commercial.
Yeah.
In the long run. Everyone go buy Skyline while you can.
I mean, I feel like you could still like verbally suck Nissan's dick when they get to GT school and he's talking about like the best automobile like on the tracks.
They could have just, like you said, started with Giannis, probably worked a little more on his family dynamic, because I will agree they only touched on his brother for a brief moment. I feel like that would have been a great driving force to use.
That would have been that's a gold mine of content. Like there's not a rivalry, but like his father favors.
No, it was a rivalry. We'll call it what it was. It was a rivalry. It was like, because you can have rivalries and still like get along to a certain extent.
That's fair. Like,
and so no, it was definitely a rivalry. Like his brother played sports like his father did. They're looking at him like they're not sitting there telling him like what he's doing is too childish as far as an adult. There's no guarantee he's going to get, go pro or whatever sport it was. I think it was probably more like probably soccer.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot more opportunities to get on a team out there versus here.
True. But at the same time, it's still a pipe dream at the end of the day to go pro and no matter where you are, it's still a pipe dream. And they were very, supportive of his brother. And meanwhile, I don't know about y'all, but if my kid had the dedication to save up his money to get his own racing sim, that steering wheel he busted out was like a $500 steering wheel.
Right.
Like he's putting his money and he's not asking y'all to do it. He's doing it on his own.
I mean, but also like, do you want a kid to just have this kid in your house that's quote unquote going to just live in your basement?
No, but that's why you see he has to buy it himself. He understands the value of a dollar. He has to buy that shit himself. It's the difference of someone who's saying, "Mom, Dad, buy this for me," and they do it. That fucker's gonna end up in your basement. Right. The dude who went outside, hustle selling draws for the last month and a half, come home to buy this $500 steering wheel, more than likely will eventually get his shit in order because he knows he has to fund his own things he likes.
But no, I like this movie. I really like the driving stuff, as in I said this, I think, when I saw Mission Impossible, and I kind of dumped on Fast and Furious. It's so nice to see real cars on real roads.
Yeah.
And like, I just really appreciate it that they got some cameras out and some cars and they hired real human drivers and they had them drive instead of it being CGI. Now, I'm not going to say there's no CGI because like there's a pretty bad car crash, a few of them. And I'm 100% sure they didn't actually do some of that. Like when the car flipped.
Yeah. That one, I don't know. I think when we saw the scene, I'm pretty sure it was, I don't know. I get what you're saying. The part where the car definitely started coming up in the front, more than likely CGI because it's hard to recreate
Yeah.
like on a whim like that. But as far as the car wreckage itself, I'm sure between footage that they probably already had of other cars wrecking, they probably did wreck 2 other cars themselves too.
Right. But
for
no,
that particular scene.
But no, I appreciate like seeing real cars. I thought it was really cool. That's why I wish we had more time of him at home before he went to GT school. Like there's a scene where he's trying to get home after a party gets broken up by the police.
That was actually
like
the best scene in the movie.
That scene was really cool. And I'm like, I wish we could have gotten more scenes of him driving a regular car.
But see, that was the thing. I don't think from the way they told the story, so we say it that way. From the way they told the story, it didn't seem like he had much experience driving a normal car. It seemed like that was his first time. Him and his brother were going back and forth about, do you even know how to drive a clutch or drive a stick?
I see.
And then that was literally the day before he had the drive for the virtual lap, the virtual race for the school. So it seemed, the way that they tell the story, it seemed like outside of his sim, he probably only been driven a real car a handful of times.
Okay. I didn't pick that up, but that makes sense.
So I figured if all your driving experience is mostly behind a sim, I think you can actually translate that to driving a car. I do. Yeah. I agree with that. You know me for many years. I like buy sticks.
Yeah.
And I will say that it is a different level of feel for the car. And I'm not sure if you get that in a driving sim or not. Like the feel of your clutch not engaging correctly, or I'm sure I don't know. Can you even stall on these driving games? He said, can you stall the car out? Is that even a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I wouldn't even know if that's
because like they want it to be as realistic as actually getting in a car.
And I know that they have like the pedals that have pressure now, so they can kind of give you some of that feedback that you would expect from a real car. So at this point, like and here's another thing that we don't take into consideration. Like pilots, they put them in flight sims for many hours.
That is very true.
Many hours before
they single-handedly keeping Microsoft flight simulator on the shelves.
Yeah, in real life, like they literally go and they have flight sims just like they have these car sims for people at home and
train sims too.
Yeah, and people have logged many hours, and it does translate from what you do in the game to the real life. Like,
I remember a couple months ago, I saw an article talking about how in like the big rig simulator, actual big rig companies are like putting ads in those games saying, "Do you want a real job doing this?" Yeah. Because of you've got a lot of the experience already.
True, and like clearly, this is you enjoy enough to do in the fake world. Why not make some money in the real world and doing it? So if you are a person who likes to and let's just be real, like the average person, do you really get the opportunity to really street race? No, you don't. Like a street race is your stock car going probably against another stock car, a slightly modified car. You got those people who build their cars for track days and everything, but track day is not the same as a rally race or like a NASCAR race. Or so I do see that like now after watching this movie, I do have a new appreciation for those type of simulators. Probably not like Goat Simulator or nothing like that, but I do have a new appreciation for sims I probably didn't have prior to this movie.
I could get on board with that. Like there's a lot of good in this movie. This is asshole movie critic, right? I watch too many movies, so it's like I want different shit.
Yeah, definitely. I get it.
So yeah. But overall, I liked it. Like I also recommend this movie. It's a good time. I hope it does well. I don't think it's gonna like break records, but I hope it does well.
And I think this movie would have did better pre-COVID.
Why do you say that?
Pre-COVID, I feel like we were just more open to going to the movies. Like now, I feel like we are so accustomed. I'll wait till it hit the streaming platform.
Yeah.
I'll wait till other like X, Y, and Z comes out and other people give me their reviews of it. Like I think pre-COVID is probably would have did much better than it will today.
I agree. It was a different landscape. Like streaming has ruined the theatrical experience.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put that out there. Like if you
Yeah.
just look at the summer box office, like I mean, there's other factors, but like the bigger thing is like a movie comes out, it doesn't do well. The Flash movie comes out, it doesn't do well. A month later, it's on like video on demand and it's breaking records because
Right.
people just want to watch it at home.
It's shit happen. You got someone who has an 85-inch TV at home.
Right.
And
surround sound, and really good headphones.
And they're sitting 3 to 5 feet away from that screen. They have to worry about someone's badass kids sliding down the seats next to them. You don't have to worry about like you don't have to worry about anything. Like you gotta get these bathroom, press pause.
Yep.
What did he say? Rewind it.
Yeah.
Like you have all those accommodations for you. And I still love the theater experience, and that's also because I grew up as a kid who weekend comes. We grew up with the dollar show. We grew up with.
Have your kids been to the movies before?
Yeah,
your older one.
Yeah, me and Jake go to the movies from time to time.
But has your daughter?
No, she hasn't gone.
Yeah,
she's not quite there yet.
I get you.
Yeah, but no, like me and Jake, like I know I'm gonna go see the Ninja Turtles with him probably sometime next week. Like there's certain movies that him and me will go see. Like we saw Sonic, we seen Mario, the Cars movies when they were like Cars 3 when it was new. So he has like his type of movies that he likes to see, but I also have noticed he has no problem waiting until it hit a streaming platform.
Why would he? He has nothing but content.
Yeah, he has
so many streaming services at his fingertips. What does he care about whatever that's coming on in the theater?
He doesn't. His thing, it's probably Ninja Turtles goes. He wants to see it with me.
Yeah.
And so if I told him we were gonna wait till it come on and stream it and just make a day of it at home, he'll be fine. But I know it just wouldn't be as special to him without us going to the movies to go see it.
No, I get
so I'm not gonna rob him of that father son. But I do agree that the theater experience isn't what it used to be. Especially like you said, like the movie will be out a month from now on somebody's platform. Crackle, probably because it's a Sony movie. It'll be on Crackle for free within 2 months.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. Do you recommend this movie to see in the theater?
Definitely. I think it was a great movie. I think I would definitely go. Honestly, after seeing it now, if I knew somebody who wanted to go see it, I would go to the theater to see it again.
Okay, so if I didn't ask you to come to this screening, would you have seen it in the theater?
Possibly. It could have went 50-50 that way.
Okay.
Generally speaking, when I go to movies, it's usually, you and I have our movie crew that we go with. Yeah. And so outside of that, especially in today's age, like before, like I could always find somebody to go catch a movie with. And like I still have people from my podcast and stuff I can, see movies with too.
Yeah.
But just like I said, the movie going experience isn't as it doesn't have the same like cherry on top that it used to have.
It doesn't. Like I can't tell you how many like movies I saw this summer opening weekend and like there's barely anybody in the theater.
Yeah, like I think the last packed movie I saw was fucking Endgame.
Okay.
Like I don't think Wakanda ever was that packed. I don't think Guardians of the Galaxy was that packed when I go see it.
Wakanda Forever was packed.
I don't think was it.
We were together.
Oh it was packed. It was packed tonight. I take that back. It was.
But also a franchise sequel.
Yeah, and then just black people being black people. Wakanda Forever. I got to show up for the movie, for the culture.
Like the only time I've been seeing packed theaters is at advanced screenings. So like they're showing up for that. But like I gotta pay for this? Nah.
I think the advanced screening thing is a little different as well, especially with.
I mean, I'm not saying all of them.
Yeah, I know we were just there. It was pretty empty. But I think with the world, as the way we have podcasters and just how we receive media on, we as podcasters, we are the media now. Like, who's looking to see the St. Louis Post-Dispatch review of movies right now? No one.
Right.
Like
you go on YouTube or
on
TikTok
YouTube,
or whatever, and
exactly, and you'll find somebody whose content who you're already familiar with, and you'll take their review as words bond. Like shit, I look at a lot of IGN reviews a lot still, and that's probably one of the few sources of as far as that I would consider true media, who opinion I still kind of value.
Right. It's an institution. Look at us.
Like crazy. Like once upon a time I wouldn't have looked at once upon a time like we had our sources of like what we would consider to be viable sources. And I don't think those viable sources are what they used to be anymore.
They aren't. They really aren't.
I think like dude from AMC gave us a whole diatribe at the beginning of the movie saying, "Please come back, please come back."
Oh, that's right. At the beginning of the screening, the president of AMC had this unedited monologue that really should have been edited, and he just kept talking. And I'm like, is no one gonna stop this man? And also, y'all didn't make him do a second take. This man's rambling and he's stumbling on his words.
He was very Joe Biden-ish up there, rambling about, I ain't got it like I used to have it because y'all don't come out no more. Please come back. I'm trying to get another house.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I saw something that said they're probably gonna file for bankruptcy the next year.
I'm not surprised. Like, just if just watching like the writer's strike right now, and just like I said, once again, how we receive movies and media as a whole, AMC should if the AMC and malls have lived way longer than I thought they have at this point, to be honest.
Are there any left in malls here?
Yeah, but AMC theaters no, but they're the Galleria set has their theater.
Oh yeah, and then there's one.
They still might have AMC out there like at
no, that's gone.
Mirrors. Okay.
Oh, that's not AMC. That's Marcus.
Okay,
that's still there, but the one that was in Chesterfield Mall is gone.
Okay, but I'm not surprised.
I mean, yeah, it was a dead mall.
It was a dead mall, and movies are dead venues now.
Yeah,
like you're gonna spend on a date for a movie today it's
expensive,
way more than it used to be.
So one of my friends bought tickets to see like a independent movie. Like only one theater in the St. Louis area is playing this movie, and it's only this week time of recording. And she bought a ticket tonight for the 5:30 show. And so she shows up and they scan her phone. They're like, there's a weird pop-up here, but that's weird. But come on in. She bought like some food. She went in the room she was supposed to go into. She sat down and she's like, it's like almost 6 and they're still playing the commercials. That's weird. And eventually they played The Meg 2 instead of the small independent movie. And then she looked on the app and they canceled the screening because she's the only person that bought a ticket for that screening.
Wow.
So they put a more popular
movie.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. But that's like I said, that's proof. Like once upon a time, it would have been probably a harder time to go see that movie for that 1 week they would have been showing.
Yeah. And
opposed to now, like somebody was saying, like, well, I'll just wait till whenever it's on streaming.
Yeah.
And you think about you're paying Netflix, you're paying Hulu, you're paying Apple TV, you're paying all these platforms, and they all have their own content. They also, and I get it. It's like the same difference with buying an Xbox and a PlayStation and a Switch. They all have what they offer, but when you're paying that shit monthly, you're not gonna be sitting there like, well, they just released new movies this week on Netflix. I could either watch this at home for the money I've already spent, or I'm about to go drop $36 or more to go catch this movie at the theater, watch it one time. Got to put some clothes on. Got to waste my gas.
Roll the dice on the audience.
Roll my dice on the audience. Am I hungry? Do I want snacks? Damn, I dropped another $20 on fucking popcorn and a drink. Like think about the episode of Boondocks when they went to the movies. Great episode. Okay. Great episode. And Granddad was in there bitching and complaining about how much snacks and shit cost. That was over 10 years ago.
That was longer than that, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, over 10 years ago.
That's fair. That's fair. Selective hearing. No, I agree. Like the prices of the food stuff is ridiculous. Like, yes, your popcorn and soda combo is $20. Popcorn
Ooh,
and soda.
right. We offered a miniature pan pizza and some chicken nuggets now. We're acting like we're a 4-star restaurant.
Oh, and it's not even like a combo. If you want like the chicken strips or whatever and fries, that's not together. That's two separate costs. So
Two
you
separate.
paying $20 for that plus a drink.
When you could have just you paying like DoorDash prices for some microwave Tyson's chicken that they got in the bag.
Yep.
And the extra $4 to come bring it to your seat. Like it's just the cash grab of what the movie theater is. That's what it truly has become, as a cash grab. And who really has like the money to really just, unless you're just really into it like that, you're not gonna really go. Like the only I leave outside of like Gran Turismo, it almost has to be like a guaranteed good movie for me almost.
No, I get that. I mean, I've turned this into work, so I'm going a lot more than I've seen more movies this year than I saw last year, but also COVID. But
think about but before COVID, think about when you used to go to, like you said, like before it became work for you, you would go see movies, whether it was good, bad. You would go see anything. You didn't really care. You just like going. You enjoyed going to the movies. I don't think you turning it into work is ruining your quality of the movie. I think it's just the quality of what movies are, and the atmosphere is what's ruining it for you.
No, I can 100% agree with that. Some stuff I've seen, I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Yeah, like as two individuals who back in the day was acquiring things, movies and TV shows just from other countries and or ahead of time, just so we can just. I think you and I were just two people who just really had a true love for the art of movies and TV, and it's almost like we're literally watching them kill something that we truly love.
It's so sad. It's so sad. Also, it's like I can't stand watching TV shows. Like it's so hard for me to watch a TV show because I'm like, I don't want to watch something for 10 hours.
I miss like weekly TV.
Yeah.
I miss that shit. Like
it's not even like the streaming. I'm not saying like the Netflix style of like dumping something. It's like I just want to. Can we just wrap this shit up in 2 hours? Like, why do we need to stretch this story out for 10 episodes or however many episodes? Like, just make a fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a fucking movie.
I agree, because a lot of stuff could be just a 2-hour movie and be done.
Right. So but like that's where I'm like kind of annoyed with TV these days.
I just finished reviewing Secret Invasion with the TV Blerds.
Okay.
And Secret Invasion would have been a much better MCU movie, timed right in the timeline, than a 6-week miniseries.
I agree. I don't
feel like that way about every MCU show. I don't feel
I agree. Like WandaVision is something that should have been a TV show.
Loki as well. Loki I loved as a TV show.
Yeah. But no, I mean I agree. It could have made a good movie, but they also like I don't want to. We're not going to talk about it.
We're not gonna, no, but you get what I'm saying.
I agree. I agree with you, but they could have made it a better show. I'll say that.
That too. You can tell where the budget was cut.
and you can tell where they dumped all the money.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and I'll say this just for the record, it wasn't watching those skulls transform. I'll tell you that.
They went old school on those transformations.
Watch the bus. Right. Somebody else. I'm just gonna stare at you so you know it's me.
But no, all right. So we've been going 50 minutes. This is too long. But overall, we both recommend this movie. It's a good time in the theater. Yes, it is a good movie in the theater, but we all know what will happen with this movie in a month after it comes out.
See you on Crackle.
Right. All right. I appreciate you doing this with me, Joe.
No problem, bro.
All right. And let me think. This wasn't supposed to be regular episode length, so I have different notes. I don't have like the full notes, but let's see. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at We Used to Talk Pod. Reach out if you got any questions, comments, or concerns at we used to talk pod at gmail.com. There's a letterbox somewhere out there. I think we have threads. That's a thing, right?
That's a thing.
That's a thing that they're doing. Because wait, I'm sorry. Did I say Twitter? I mean X. We have X. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a thing. But yeah. So thank you guys. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening to our rambling. I've been Chad. Look out for our mainline episode in a few days. We're recording this in the past, so I don't know what's happening in the future. But appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Joe.
As always.
You guys have a good one.